new that have never been done before.
We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route to do. We the people are free. And I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited.
Well, g'day, folks. How are you? Very happy Friday to you. And it might be the last Friday you have in a little while. Maybe you're ending your holidays about now. I know there are many people who've already gone well back to work, been back at work for a few weeks. But I know there are amongst you some who haven't. But next Tuesday, I think, will form the day where you go back to school. In fact, kids have probably got to go back to school next Tuesday as well, do they? They usually start around Australia Day. They never did when I was a kid. It was always February when we started, I think, from memory. But anyway, things change. Oh, God, when I was a kid. Doesn't it make you sound old? Happy Friday to you. The Wandering, or the Waving Wonder, will be joining us right now. He is, in fact, logged in. I can show you that much. But he has disappeared. Not waving, wiping, I think would be the best way of terming that at the moment. But we'll have him on shortly. Well, interesting things have happened all day when it comes to Australian politics. Some interesting things have happened globally too with politics and with the WEF. Variously, there have been a number of announcements made through the World Economic Forum in Davos. Trump spoke, and that full speech is available if you want to go and look at it. Trump spoke yesterday on his way home, currently, I think, still in the air, but he has been talking to press on the plane, and they've been letting out all sorts of information. The deal apparently was done for Greenland in the background under threat of all these tariffs on Europe, and, of course, the fact that the Americans are the ones that supply all the money to NATO. So any war that NATO were going to conduct against America would have been difficult. Not just the money, they supply a lot of the weapons as well. And I'm not sure that it's widely known or, in fact, even proved, but it is widely suggested that if the Americans sell you a weapon, they can turn it off if you plan on aiming it at them, and it won't work. So just be a little bit aware of that if you're in the special weapons market around the world at the moment. George Christensen has come out today. I think he's saying most of what everybody else is thinking at the moment. My advice to my former party is to ditch the Libs. They are a sinking ship. A merger with One Nation is probably the only long-term future the Nationals have. Well, he said those words out loud. I think a lot of people have been thinking about that. And we will find out from the Waving Wonder his thoughts. There are a lot of people that have concerns about this sort of an arrangement too, but we have to have change. And I guess there's an argument to say that we've never really had an alternative to Labor or Liberal. Now there really is an alternative by the looks of it. Mainstream media is starting to recognise and scream about it. And, well, it'll be interesting to see if One Nation can keep it together, not screw it up. I hope that is the case. Going to say hello to a few people in the chat first up. Deb was in the chat first up, followed by Tim. The lovely Sunflower, I hope you are doing well, my dear. And you and Rick are looking forward to a wonderful weekend there on the sunny coast. There is a lot of things happening around the Sunshine Coast this weekend, including just a little north of the Sunshine Coast, the My Place get-together happening at the Borough Park off-grid caravan park. So I'll put that flyer up again a little later on, but that's happening Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Darren Bergworth will be heading up to that one. My plan is to hopefully get there. I have a couple of other things that I'm meant to be at, including the March on the Gold Coast on Sunday. So, I beg your pardon, on Monday. So we'll have to wait and see. We will also be attempting to stream a lot of those things, although I would need my cohort to be available for that. There you go. He's back waving and not wiping now. There you go. Thank you, mate. Nice to have you with us.
Can I just say that the week that we've just had has finally got to me, and I just had to spend my time sitting on the loo, because it literally gave me the shits.
Yes, and it may not be the only time in this part of program where you have to run off and
yeah, effectively.
Without,
I do want to correct. I do want to correct something that I said the other night when we were talking on a program about fiduciary duty, and we should hold them all and take them to court, etc., and so on.
Yeah.
However, I found out with a little bit of research that the politicians and possibly the bureaucrats, because they're serving public law and the public in general, not a unique set of individuals, don't fall under fiduciary duty statute, as it's private law, not public law. So, interesting.
There are a number of interesting factors to what you've discovered, because we went down the route. Obviously, Mona is sending out fiduciary duty notices left and right, particularly to public servants who you would think have a fiduciary duty to look after the public. But you're trying to tell me there is a loophole in that as well?
Yeah. So basically, the High Court has ruled on it in a number of various bits and pieces. The court's ruling here have consistently held that government powers are public law powers, not private trust powers. So therefore, fiduciary law in the private does not exist. Elected officers are accountable politically and constitutionally, not as trustees, for each individual citizen. So unless you're a trustee or you have a duty of care to an individual citizen, then you can't do fiduciary duty. All right, that's just one part. There's a whole heap more on it as well, but that basically explains it.
We need to check into this from Daniel as well. High Court judgment of the 80 states that government has no place in law. I recall this. Yeah,
that's actually one of the High Court judges actually said that when he looks at it, that there is no place in law. Australia current government does not have a place in law. Can't remember which judge it was. Then we had another one that said that power used in excess is no power at all, and every person has the right to refuse to obey it.
Indeed,
but
indeed.
You've got to prove that the power is in excess of. So, anyway, I've had enough of that crap. Literally, sorry.
All right. So I want to talk about One Nation, and I want to talk about the National Party, and I want to talk about the Liberal Party. In the last hour or so, Sky News are reporting that Liberal MP Tony Passon has confirmed that he doesn't believe Susan Lee will remain as leader. She probably won't survive much past the first sitting week, I think, which they're back again on February 3rd. So,
my mate Tony.
Is he one of your blokes? The South Australian fellow.
He's our South Australian. Yeah, he's the South Australian. He's who I ran against when I ran in the federal election.
Ah, there you go. Well, Tony doesn't think that she's got a hope in hell. And I've got to say, Clive Palmer's come out. Goodbye, Liberal Party, goodbye. Former LNP Life member and party spokesman Clive Palmer said today that Australia was witnessing the death of the Liberal Party. The Liberal Party lacks the conviction and strength needed to hold the Albanese government to account. Mr. Palmer said, we need a new dawn. We need an alternative to bring back prosperity. Mr. Palmer said Australians deserved a government that could create jobs and a thriving economy. We need real policies that will make a difference to our country, not populist policies, but policies that provide solutions and great wealth for all of Australia. It will soon emerge that a new era is coming. I'm with you, Clive. He went on to say, stop the rot. We need a real alternative for the Australian people. The Liberals used to pride themselves on being different to Labor. They stood for smaller government and less tax. Now they're nothing more than a Clayton's Labor standing for bigger government and more taxes. Meanwhile, Australia is suffering a cost of living crisis, with Food Bank recognising more than 3.4 million households are experiencing food insecurity. This country has given me, being Clive, a lot, and I am grateful for that. However, it is a disgrace that we live in one of the richest nations in the world, yet millions are hungry and homeless, Mr. Palmer said. We don't need advertising slogans. We need a new beginning. Now is the time to consider our future. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. Goodbye, Liberal Party. Goodbye. You didn't hear Clive mention One Nation there at all in everything.
There's a good reason for that, because he's keying up for yet another run with another party in some format or another, which is a great division tactic.
I would see that, a great division tactic. I would see that as just trying to attack One Nation when they should, in fact, be swarming to be hanging off her coattails at the moment, all of those minor parties, and then they might actually get a say. I've been saying since this news poll came out that the arguments that have been happening hitherto about who would lead some sort of combined party, if you like, of the minor parties joining together, that was always the sticking point. Who would be the leader? Clive? Would it be Pauline? Would it be one of the Catters? Would it be, who could it be? And sitting at the table, there was a lot of debate about that kind of thing. Well, there cannot be that debate any longer. The people have spoken, the polls are showing it, and certainly the mainstream media now appears to be getting behind it. The country believes that Pauline is viable. One Nation have just hit 50-50 with Labor on a two-party preferred poll.
Yep.
Now, that sort of poll has not been done, well, not in my existence anyway, where a minor party has had a result like that. 50-50. And Albanese as preferred Prime Minister is dropping significantly, and Pauline's number seems to be increasing. Barnaby's number is quite high in that too, because there's a recognition, I guess, that Barnaby's in the House. But I think that's going to prove a little bit worrying. And as many people are saying, they're not laughing anymore. Pauline is very serious about she's coming after Albanese. She's called him out on major television shows and said, we're coming for you. I think the release of the movie on Monday in Brisbane will be the first showings of it Monday night. This is the new super progressive movie. The superprogressivemovie.com is the website where you can go and get a ticket, $99 for just a normal ticket. It's I think about $130 for a special remembrance kind of ticket. Or I don't know, might have Pauline's face printed on it or something. But if you want to go along to that, I'm sure it's going to be a hell of an event. And there are nights every night next week in different capital cities where the cinema is showing the movie. But it will not be going into general release in cinemas. From the 30th of January, I think it is, you will be able to download it and watch it. You can prepay for it now at that superprogressivemovie.com website. And from the 30th, you'll be able to download it and watch it in the comfort of your own lounge room, which, is all good. It'll certainly make for some interesting conversations, both online, and I hope when people go out and start mingling, as us lot are known to do, where we catch up. I think it's going to be vicious on both Labor and Liberal parties, probably vicious on Clive's lot as well, and the Catters. But I think there'll be a friendship between the Catters and One Nation in this. The Catter Australia Party has a phenomenal amount of support across far north Queensland, and rightly so. The Catters have nothing but the best interests of far north Queenslanders at the forefront of everything they do, and they've earned that respect from far north Queenslanders over generations. So it'd be nice to see them all come together. But there cannot be an argument about who's going to be the leader. And Clive going out and gathering, well, to be honest, I don't believe that he would steal too many votes from Pauline. I think he would steal them from the Liberal Party, who have
the ALP.
proven, or the ALP, who've proven themselves to be absolute uni-party, monobrow muppets. And it's, what do you think? A bit exciting that we're living at this time, I think, where finally Australians, the world, are starting to be awakened to this bullshit. I mean, could you have seen this, before COVID?
No, don't think so. Just as a point of interest, I heard you mention earlier that the Nationals should team up with One Nation. I probably wouldn't see that one as a happening thing, especially seeing Matt Canavan came out today and he would specifically called out One Nation for not making any amendment changes in the Senate to the bill. You know what my first thought was? Why do you need to amend something you're saying fucking no to?
That's right.
That's right. We don't want the bill. That's a no.
That's a vast problem the Liberal Party have. They seem to think that it's okay to put an amendment up. You're in opposition to oppose, and you are meant to have your finger on the pulse of the community, your community, and what they believe. And yet, do we honestly believe there is one Liberal? Well, there might be a couple of Liberals. I might be being a broad painter of strokes there, but the vast majority of Liberals could not give a flying fig about their constituents because they are told how to vote by the power players in their party, and they cow down to it. They don't stand up for their people. Oh, well, then we've got to find an excuse. Oh, well, the party's doing this. We've got to do a few things in the background, but the party needs. This is why party politics is actually outlawed in our constitution.
Yeah,
so good people don't get railroaded.
Right. David Pocock, Senator David Pocock, I believe. He basically did finally reply to one of the emails that I sent. And he's got written down here. So I've done my best to consult widely as possible in the time available. I conducted a survey of Canberrians over the weekend, which received about 1,000 responses, and have been making my way through the social media comments and the emails that I have been receiving, including from yourself. Some key findings of the survey are 75% of the respondents had concerns or serious concerns about bills. 94% of respondents said it was important or very important that protection applied equally to the groups with protection attributes. 94% of respondents said that it was important or very important to avoid substantial restrictions on freedom of expression, including the right to protest. Now, remember, this is Canberrians, the only place that voted yes for the voice. Okay, just remember that part. 80% of respondents supported a strong support for firearms in the state and territory buyback schemes. That's all right. They're in the middle of the frigging country. They don't care. They'll be the last place to be invaded. Who'd want to invade Canberra anyway?
No, you just send a couple of decent missiles in its direction. That's all you need to do.
All right. 93% of the respondents supported increased import controls for firearms. I think they had that wrong. Shouldn't that be import control for immigrants? But
well, yeah.
Might have been a typo. Well, 75% of respondents thought that some or all of the bill should be subject to greater scrutiny and should not be passed this week. Now, that's the response from the Canberrians. If that's the numbers coming from the Canberrians, what the hell is the rest of Australia thinking?
How did Pocock vote? Do we know? Let me just see if I can.
Yeah, he said they were voting no against it. They voted against it.
And yet,
that's what he says.
All these people, the thing that I've found most intriguing about the headlines the last couple of days, all these people coming out saying, "Oh, we voted no," and yet all this shit got passed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't understand. I don't understand how the opposition have been unable to read the tea leaves. Shit, you didn't need to read the tea leaves. You just needed to walk into any social media room, walk outside and ask an Aussie what they think about this. Go to the pub, run it past the pub test. I mean, this white lady funeral director is not. Well, I don't think she'd go to a pub, would she? You know, they wouldn't sell the fine wines. And I've got to actually, speaking of the white lady, I've got to thank someone who sent me through this last night. We're only missing the purple.
That should get the commenter going full on again in one of the comments I was looking at in the videos down below on YouTube. How much you hate women, mate.
Me?
Yeah, look. Yeah. You hate women. It was such.
No, I hate incompetence. I hate incompetence. You know, I hate Albo. He's incompetent. I really do hate incompetence. Did to that person who thinks I hate women? This woman is leading the nation at the moment in conjunction with a bunch of men whom I believe she takes advice from. God love her. She takes advice from these men, can I say. Now, the best advice that these men and maybe a few women could come up with after having all of the time between the 14th of December and the catastrophe that happened at Bondi until the first question time earlier this week, the best they could come up with was, why haven't you apologized, Prime Minister? They asked the same question at least 6 or 7 times. A question of no consequence to anybody out here in the public. What sort of a leader isn't smart enough to understand that strategy, given the current climate, isn't going to appease people like me? And there are a lot of people like me who would gladly applaud this woman if she was any good at the job she's currently got. But sadly, I believe she's falling down, like I believe Albanese is falling down. I attack Penny Wong on a regular basis. Now, you're going to accuse me of woman hating her? Are we even sure she's a woman?
No comment.
On
the basis that I may become a hate group and therefore it's 15 years jail. Oh, no, chill. That's called the chill factor from lawyers.
I am a hate group. I am a hate group of one for incompetence. I am a hate group of one for liars and cheats and mealy-mouthed muppets who speak with forked tongues. You know, these are not the people that should be representing the good people of this nation. These people need to be thrown out. They need to be made accountable. They need to spend some time in some of the places they'd wish we were going to spend some time and may well spend some time in. Not a grave, but maybe a jail. So,
yeah, well.
No, I'm not a woman hater at all. I love women, and I love competent, powerful, strong, intelligent women. Love them. They are my downfall, if I'm honest. But
I'd actually agree with that, because if I could tell you some of the stories in the last 3 years since I've got to know this man, right? Yeah, no, I can't because. Okay.
Yeah, I like intelligent women. I really do. I like smart women. I like smart men too, not in that kind of way. I couldn't eat a whole one. But I
Oh, really?
detest the
You want
idea
to rephrase that?
I detest the idea that you think I hate women. I just hate incompetence, and I hate that in men and women, and whatever flavored rainbow tool you want to call yourself. You can be an incompetent rainbow flavored tool all you want. I won't like you, and I certainly, well, not certainly, but the amount of respect I'd have for you being a certain rainbow colored tool is minimal. Put it that way. It's more, I would look at you more like a poor animal who needs to be taken to the vet and cared for until you can be cared for. Because I do think you have a sickness. But trust me, I've got sicknesses too. I don't hold it against you. I don't try and shove my sicknesses down your throat, so to speak. And you can keep your rainbow colored sicknesses away from my throat and every other part of me. Thank you. That'd be very good. Yes, I am.
That's
trying to be
twice
very careful.
tonight. Really?
Yes.
Yeah, be very careful because, you know, I can make shorts apparently. Okay. So, all right. So where does this go? Where does this put Australia? Like, this is bullshit. What's going on? I did hear Pauline, she got asked a question about this bill. If they made it into government, would she get rid of it? Would she repeal it?
Yep.
Do you know how much hesitation she had in answering the question?
I bet a lot.
Zero.
Oh.
There was no hesitation, and the answer was yes, it'll be gone.
Good on her. Good on her.
All right. No hesitation at all. Unlike somebody like Susan Lay, who's like, right? I haven't liked that lady from the first time I spotted her. That's just my personal opinion, and that's only because her body language said, yeah, no trust there. But anyway.
Yeah, no, I've got to admit, I never even knew who she was when she was elected as the leader. And I'll be honest, white must be her favorite color because it's just about the only thing I ever remember seeing her in. But it makes her look like she should be standing in one of the corners of a hearse. I'm sorry. It does.
Yeah.
So that's immediately what it brings to mind. And her mealy-mouthed speaking utterances. I watched an interview with her the other day on Sky News. Not impressed. She's not strong. She's not confident in and of herself. Yes, she's under attack, and in her position, I would probably be exactly the same way. And I've had more or just as much experience in front of that sort of thing as she has, I suppose, nowhere near the pressure. However, there comes a time where doing the best for the nation is walking away. And if you can't recognize that, then the nation recognizes you're more in it for you than you are for us. And right now, while the nation has been able to recognize that, I think, over history from, ever, right now, they're prepared to do something about it. And that is to really band together and look for that alternative. Now, Pauline is putting up a very, very good alternative. I haven't gone into them here, but I urge you. Pauline has a $90 billion policy. One Nation, I shouldn't say Pauline. One Nation has a $90 billion policy that would see $40 billion of that returned to your pockets. Now, I haven't been through it item line by item line. I am not an accountant. I wouldn't know how to go checking or budgeting or, costing such things. However, I do know that there is a phenomenal amount of waste currently in our governmental systems. And I don't think finding $90 billion in all that waste is going to be a terribly hard thing to do. So I would encourage her to dig deeper, work harder. I think we could also be asking her questions about her plans for the public service. Will she shrink it? There is,
Well,
I mean, I would love to say let's go in and sack the lot of them and start again, but
no,
it would be
that's
like
going to take.
walking into a blind room to put a jigsaw together. You know,
Yeah.
walking into a dark
And-
room, trying to find the pieces, and then trying to fit them all together. You couldn't be
It
done.
would
But what
be
we do need to do is put the public servants in a position where lying to these new politicians, these alternatives that hopefully would be elected to that place, that obfuscating or playing the yes minister, yes prime minister game with them has serious consequences. You might remember I had Malcolm Roberts on one time. I asked him, what are the consequences for the public servants that treat you and other politicians with such disdain and disrespect in Senate estimates? Are there any things that you can do that would cause them to think twice about smart-ass replies, or just, oh, we'll have to reply to that on notice? Every friggin' question. And he said, well, there are mechanisms, but nobody ever uses them. That has to stop. Has to stop.
There was a question that popped up earlier that said, does she have the power to do that? I'm glad
Does she
you
have the power to
asked.
do what? The
Repeal
power to do what?
law. Repeal
Well,
the law.
when you've got all the seats in the House, yes, you can.
Yeah, and that's the point. Any law can be modified or repealed purely by passing a bill saying we wish to repeal the law. And if everybody says yes, and the Senate says yes, then that law is gone. Getting rid of laws is easy. Keeping them in check, a whole different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It smells like fish too.
One Nation used to have a 2% tax policy. Yes, I believe they did. So did Ricardo.
Yep.
Did
Actually,
One Nation pinch
I'd
Ricardo's
argue
tax
that.
policy? I would probably say they probably did give it a good look over. Ricardo's policy was quite good. It would work. I've had real accountants look at it. They agree it would work. But obviously there's no money in the back end of that for the politicians as they currently sit. So we do need to start seriously considering not just who we're voting for, because we're still a long way away from the election. What we need to do is start considering the questions we're going to put to One Nation candidates, because right now there will be a huge drive to start looking for candidates. Now, whether or not One Nation are actually looking for those candidates, they will be being bombarded with people who now want to stand up and represent for them. And I believe that in Victoria, One Nation are standing 100 candidates in the Victorian state election. That means they're standing somebody in every seat. Now, that's going to be the canary in the coal mine. That'll be interesting to see how Victorians react to that. I'm not sure that Victorians have such a strong support level for One Nation as maybe Queensland, Northern Territory, and certainly regional parts of New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia have. Not sure that it's that strong, but they don't need to win government. They just need to gain the balance of power.
Yeah.
And this could be the beginnings of something great. I think the Victorian election is either due late this year or early next year from memory.
Late this year.
So the candidate drive will be in full swing in Victoria, but they will also be looking nationally. And what would happen now, not that we would wish this upon any politician, but what would happen now if one of them happened to, stumble his way out of the members' dining room one night, hiccup after his last bottle of $200 red wine that the people have paid for, tripped, fall down the stairs and broke his neck, and we need a by-election.
You're not talking about Barnaby, are you? Oh, sorry.
No, Barnaby doesn't fall downstairs. He just pulls up a piece of footpath and goes to sleep.
Yeah.
And listen,
I don't care. He
I
still stands up and
remember
speaks
Bob
on us,
Hawke.
so I like that.
I remember Bob Hawke
yeah.
being a pithead, right? So
Yep.
Bob Hawke being the very proud man, sculling bloody beers and sculling yard glasses, which is what he was known for back in his Rhodes Scholar days. And I can tell you, at the time he was Prime Minister and had the nation believing that he was not drinking, like he was sober and had been for many years. I was working in Canberra at that time at a radio station, and I can tell you that there was a back room, a back door, and a whole security team dedicated to keeping news of Bob Hawke blind drunk in the Canberra casino out of the papers. There was a tacit agreement between all the media not to be talking about it. And when he got a bit rude, because occasionally he'd get a bit mouthy and start abusing people in the high rollers room, they'd wheel him out a back door, put him in his limo, and send him back to the lodge. And this is all while he was a prime minister, supposedly doing great things for us at the time. So Barnaby, I'm not suggesting for a moment Barnaby is anywhere near that kind of a pisshead. It's clear, like most country blokes, he doesn't mind a beer. But I have no problem with Barnaby in that regard. I don't think he's going to sit at the I don't think he's going to sit at the trough and put the biggest straw in it he can and suck as hard as he can, put it that way. And I don't think that Paul
enough. Yeah, he's been around enough. We've got to look at it as a nation and just basically say to ourselves where we've been, or look back at where we've been for the last, I don't know how many years, with the uni party swapping their little sides and who's going to take the power of the seat. And it's time to step in and take somebody who is opposing, who does have totally different views, and those views align a lot with what a lot of Australians think. You've got your libertarians, you've got your independents, you've got all those other minor parties that are saying the same sort of thing as what One Nation is, but One Nation's the only one that's showing or got any real clout here. So as far as I'm concerned, right, why do we put the devil we know? Because we know he's taking us to hell real quick. So maybe we should try a different devil. And for those of you who think she's bought, you're never going to know until she's in power. You have no proof, you have no evidence. Now, does that mean I'm a One Nation follower? No. Does it mean that I'm supporting them because they're the best option we have at this stage? 100% yes. And I'm going to continue to talk about it until we get some results. We need to spend the time waking people up. That means chatting. That means talking. Or would you like to continue to pay an extra $2,000 a year just on general living? Because that's what's being promoted. All right? Remember that graph I did. 30% rise in food prices over a 12-month period. Can your pocket handle another 8 years of that? Because in 3.5 years or 4 years, whichever it is, lower, I think 3 years, you've got a chance to change it. It's totally up to you. Anyway, sorry, rant.
The carnage, Andrew's just put here. It won't be boring watching the carnage. No, I don't think it will. Do we think that the National Party, who have had a number of struggles in and of themselves, might be providing at least one more member to One Nation in the not too distant future? There are some rather interesting rumours at the moment that there is another National ready to walk out on the Nationals and cross over.
Yeah.
And there is potentially 2 Liberals that I hear would be considering doing something similar. unless there are drastic changes to the way the Liberal Party are doing whatever the hell they're doing at the moment.
There's a
What do you
challenge
think?
there.
Well,
challenge.
yes, but the Liberal Party are between a rock and a hard place with their challenge. The only real challenge would come from Andrew Hastie, but Hastie now has outed
that's not the
himself.
challenge I'm at. That's not the challenge I'm at.
What do you mean?
But carry on with your point. You carry on with your point first, and I'll come back to it.
All right. Well, Andrew Hastie has shot himself in the foot because he came out before the vote and said he wouldn't be voting for it, and then came out after the vote and made excuses and tried to blow air up his own ass about how great he was making changes to it all, and he voted for it. As I left a note on his Facebook page, he said, I did the best for Australia, did what I thought was the best for Australia. So that's why you can't be Prime Minister. The best thing to do for Australia would have been to have the entire Liberal Party vote against this and work tirelessly to defeat it in every way possible, rather than acquiescing to it in any way. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be changes to certain aspects of particularly the immigration and the security laws and all that kind of thing. There's no need to be playing with the gun laws. There's certainly no need for a gun buyback. Do you really think that the bloke who did the shooting, or the blokes that did the shooting at Bondi, would be handing in their guns? They weren't registered gun owners to begin with. You think they'd have handed those in?
One was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he got his gun. That big.
The father had a gun license, which he's not an Australian citizen, but he had a gun license. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, apparently now that's now going to be formalised. You have to be an Australian citizen.
That's one part of this bill. That's about the only part of this bill that went through that I actually agree with.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting back to my challenge, or the challenge for the people who wish to cross and say leave the Nationals or leave the Libs. Are they going to get tarnished jobs? You're just jumping ship to make for your own survival. And I'm pretty much sure that's the way that it's going to get played in the media. They're leaving and they're joining One Nation because they're just being selfish and trying to survive.
And I've got to be honest, the more of them that join One Nation, the less you're likely to trust One Nation. You're just inviting the poison into the system, aren't you? Yeah,
that's true. Although, if we had Senator Antic, I wouldn't say no. If we had Senator Jacinta Price, I wouldn't say no. Canavan, even though he doesn't seem to like One Nation, I still wouldn't say no because his morals are in the right place.
I agree. It's the morals of the bloke. And it's good to have a person like that in One Nation, to be the moralistic side. I would like to think that there are more of them in the Nationals, but I'm really unsure. I'm completely bereft of any feeling on this David Littleproud. Doesn't seem to strike me as anything other than, I'll be honest, I want to see him in a little green suit holding a shillelagh and going, "Shuck and begad, begosh, begad, here's me pot of gold." So it's all I can see him as, a little leprechaun. But I guess it's been a while since I've seen that little leprechaun prick from Qantas, so I've got to put that image onto somebody.
Rule of the universe. I don't know which boys you're talking about, and she never critiques them, etc. Mate, you're entitled to opinion. That's the beauty about democracy. She's been calling it out ever since the 90s. So I don't think she's been controlled by boys. Matter of fact, I don't think I'd want to be in a party because I think she's actually very controlling now. So that's one thing I'm not sure about.
Be running
but
like
in saying that, it's run like an iron fist. But what I am sure about is the philosophies, the policies, what they're trying to get done is best for Australia. Hence the reason it's called One Nation. Right? So, mate, I appreciate your comment. Thank you.
Yeah, look, and I think there is a valid point there that there is a lot of money that's been put in behind her. She's wrapped herself up in all sorts of flags over the day, and not all of them Australian. She has come out and support certain things that I've certainly come out against here on the show and have railed against on more than one occasion. However,
you're not going to win them all. You're not going to win them all.
No. However, I have been railed on by many others, including you, that we have to give these people a go to try and fix the system. So if we're going to give them a go, then I'm going to support them. And I'll do everything I can to help them get elected. And behind the scenes, we're already doing things like that. But I want to see things happen. I want to see.
We've got 2 years. We've got 2 years to significantly change the mindset of the people who are asleep. Right. And I think there's not as many asleep anymore because of what's happened, because of the terror attacks, because of COVID, because of the price of living, because rentals, because there's not as many jobs anymore. I mean, someone made a comment in one of the chat systems, just to prove that we do actually read the comments in the chats below, guys. Right. Carl might not reply, but if I find something, I might reply to it. So just be aware. But he specified that he's in the health industry. And if it wasn't for the humongous amount of imported health workers, our health system would be in the shit right now. And I thought to myself, well, I don't disagree with him. He's correct. But why is that the way? We have so many Australians who have been born and brought up and lived here. Why aren't they getting those jobs? Why aren't they being taught those skills? You've got to ask the question. Why?
Why is nursing all of a sudden not a preferred job for Australians?
Well, it's not safe because you get sacked if COVID comes around.
Well,
3,000 here in South Australia alone, right? Not to mention Queensland and YouTube. You cannot defy the figures on that. And if you want to, it's political speech anyway, and that's allowed by law.
I'm sure the algorithm will take that into full consideration, Vince.
No.
All right, let's move on. Going to be a big weekend all over the place. But Monday, there are many marches happening in many places. The Make
not
Australia,
much in Adelaide, not much going to happen in Mannum.
Well, right. there is an event happening in Adelaide, the Peace Park. From 11 a.m. That's what I'm here.
Yep. I have one piece of advice for all of those people. Take plenty of water. The temperature is going to be 45 degrees.
Whoa, warm day in Adelaide. So 45 degrees, live music, probably sweating there. There'll be an anthem, God knows whose. Huge PA system and stave, massive barbecues, food vans if they turn up. I did see a post today saying that if it gets too hot, they don't turn up. March to Parliament and a 21-gun salute, which I imagine is being played off tape because you wouldn't be allowed to get those out. Another one is happening at Bundaberg. Now, this is starting from 12 o'clock at Alexandra Park, so you can get along and be part of the March for Australia in Bundy. In Mackay, then Blue Water Quay is the place to be at 12 o'clock if you want to be part of the March for Australia there. And in Cairns, God love those folks in far north Queensland, you'll be able to be part of that at Freedom Park from 12 o'clock as well. Now, on the Gold Coast, the events are getting underway from 12 o'clock at Macintosh Park. Pardon me, but there has been something of a threat that has been leveled towards the Gold Coast event. In relation to events over the last few days, the organizer, who is Oz Crusader here, met with the police. This morning. There will be rifle squads, that is police with semi-automatic weapons, not open carrying, but they will be present, and a police presence down side streets as the procession moves on to ensure safety. And they will be doing a sweep before the event starts. They're taking the matter seriously. That is the threat, and they have acted brilliantly and bravely. Apparently, this is according to the organisers. The police are all over this. They've been in constant communication and will continue to be in contact with those people organising the event. The police have been brilliant, they go on to say. Counter-terrorism units are working alongside these people doing long hours and ensure the safety of the event. So if you are considering and have heard that the Gold Coast event was a problem or that there had been threats, don't worry too much, because today they arrested this bloke. Now, he has been arrested and will face court. I don't know how much I can say about what he was found with, and he was certainly found, I think, with some articles that would cause him to gain quite a number of extra years on his prison sentence, should he be getting one. And whether or not there were other people involved, police are not releasing a lot of information. They're not even releasing whether or not the threat was directly for the March for Australia event. What they have released is that the threat was for the Gold Coast on Australia Day, and they found a number of Molotov cocktails and other things that were cause for concern. So the Gold Coast event, though, they've arrested that fella. The police are all over it. By the sounds of it, there will be a very large police presence at the Gold Coast event, and that will be for your safety more so than anything else. Also, the Brisbane event is set to roll on. I believe One Nation have a lot to do with that. You'll probably see Pauline and Malcolm Roberts there. I'm not sure whether or not Barnaby will be there. He's probably going to turn up at an event somewhere in New England, I would say, and do something similar. But I believe that it is a very well One Nation approved speakers list that's going to be happening at the Brisbane event. And Shallow Chal will be able to, I'm sure, explain more of that to you at the appropriate time. Quickly, before we go, just a couple of interesting little bits of news. Out of Europe, the World Health Organization is now missing $988 million that would have ordinarily been supplied by America. They have quit the WHO. Now, Australia should be doing the same thing. Pauline has said that she is committed to getting out of the WHO, the WEF, and the UN. There are three things I'd give her votes for immediately, if not sooner. So, yep. Yeah. However, we are a long way away from an election, and what One Nation requires are good people to run, to stand, and be part of this. And I think one of the greater issues that One Nation might suffer from is that now they actually need to have people standing in practically every seat in the country, both upper and lower house, state and federal.
Yeah.
They now have the ability to gain those candidates.
In South Australia, because we have the election before Victoria has its election. I mean, Victoria's a lost case, let's face it. South Australia's not far behind. But I can tell you that I personally know three. Well, I know that the person who's running One Nation here in South Australia, I also know two of the candidates personally. Couldn't find better people if you want. And just so that people can't get all uppity-duppity, one of those candidates and his wife, who's Chinese, right, very lovely person, is the one sitting running in our area. Not to mention, you should hear the stories that he talks about what happened in China while he was stuck there during COVID. This guy's got lots of experience. He's a nice guy. So you will see him eventually on FBN, because I will be doing a recorded interview with as many politicians as I can, and I will keep my biases out of it. That'll be fun. Oh, by the way, flags.
I'm pleased for you to try.
Right. Flags, by the way, make great cover for shade. Just letting you know, lots of Australian flags, mate. Great cover for shade. And it doesn't matter what colour it is.
No, it certainly doesn't. Anything.
Not if we want to save this country.
No, true that. And take whatever flag you'd like to celebrate Australia Day. I mean, we'd like to see it an Australia flag. Preferably don't take a Palestinian one or a Jewish one or an American one. Just an Australian flag. Take the red one if you understand the difference between the flags. Take the red one and the right red one. If you don't, take the blue one.
If you don't, there's a whole write-up on Voice of Freedom's website about the flag. Remember, we put it up for people.
That's right. Yeah. So scroll down, vofhq.com, and learn the difference. It'll show you. It's very, very simple to pick. Very, very simple to pick. All right, my friend, we may,
speaking of
on
that,
whether or not you're awake, be able to do some live streaming on Monday from these marches.
Yep. Yeah, well, I'm going to be hiding away at 45 degrees it's going to be 45 degrees in Mannum, so I'll be sitting in here with the aircon going because my solar will allow that. Just as a reminder for all of those who still wish to do it, we have only 72 tickets left to sell.
Oh, 72.
Right. 72. And you could win yourself a very, very happy $750 that you could buy some silver with. And we didn't talk about silver tonight, which is really strange. Or you could get some really, really, really expensive bobs in our VOF pack, which is the last one. Yeah. Right, the very last one, the last numbered pack.
Really expensive bobs.
Aren't they just? Right?
Yeah.
And you could win those as well. You know, that prize that was, let's just add $100 to the top of the prize. Suddenly is now worth like $250 or something stupid. It's
and
so
and just to let you know,
72 tickets
sitting here waiting for you, folks. So,
have you got the number on it? Have you got it? The number on it?
This one is actually the first prototype you sent me, so it stayed with me the whole time and will not go out. That's mine, so that'll stay with me.
But the bobs are there. Well, yeah.
Yes,
all right.
I have bobs for you. All good for bobs. Don't worry about the bobs. The bobs are sorted.
All right. So people,
love your work.
Have a great weekend. I have one more thing to say, because I always have one more thing to say. You asked me to come in and yeah. Right.
Keep talking.
People, go out there. The only way we can make a difference over the next 2 years is to start talking it up. Right. You might meet some absolute FWs, right? But you got to talk it up. You got to start chatting. You got to say, look, we need a big change. We need that movement. You can't tell me that the Aussie spirit is dead. You cannot tell me that. Right? So while we sit around and do nothing, they will win. If we all stand up, they won't. And a 50-50 two-party preferred actually hasn't even really started rolling yet. What, mate. I mean, South Australian election will be an interesting touch, and then the Victorian will be another gauge of where it's going. So, yeah. So, with that,
let's see whether
I still say
capable of running a national campaign.
Sorry?
Let's see if they're capable of running a national campaign with people on the ground everywhere. That's going to be a big thing to be able to learn how to do.
No, not so much. I mean, the guy who's going to run it here in South Australia, he's now been in 2 other elections, and they've run candidates here before. So, but
yeah, I think you're missing my point, but we'll get to that another night. All
yeah,
right. You have a good one.
What? Hang on. Still hang on. People, we love you. Keep the faith. All right. Stay strong.
Good man. And that is Vincenzo. We do love you, you know that. I've never known him to be that soft and squishy. It's nice. We do love you. And somebody else that we love is the Donkey Sanctuary. As Vince said, 74 tickets left. So go to merch.vofhq.com. Please clean up those and we'll give you some of that silver, or $750. And if you are in the Hunter over the weekend, then it started today. This is the garage sale to end all garage sales. Sandy and Baz from the Donkey Sanctuary have so much stuff they have out for you to take home with you for only a few dollars. So if you would like to, please head along and check them out. 606 Glen William Road in Glen William. It's only 6 kilometres out of Clarencetown, which is, I'll show you that, make it a little easier so you can see the whole thing. Clarencetown, which is not far from Port Macquarie, not far from Newcastle and the Hunter Valley. Beautiful region. Beautiful drive. If it's a nice weekend, go for a drive and pick yourself up a bargain with Sandy and Baz, as they are doing great things there. Also, if you're going to Robina Town Centre on the Gold Coast, keep an eye out for a store that is throwing this sign up, not a date to celebrate. I'll leave it up to you to choose whether or not you'd spend any money in that store. And to wrap it all up, finally, the details have come to light about Kevin Rudd's rather unexpected and rushed resignation from America. Kevin Rudd, of course, was the US or Australian ambassador to the US for the last few years. And we all know he and Donald Trump had a few issues, or certainly Crud had some issues with Trump and used his big mouth to extrapolate on those on more than one occasion. And Trump cleaned him right up a few months ago. It was absolutely beautiful. But then, out of nowhere, Kevin Rudd resigns and is coming, well, I don't know if he's coming back to Australia. He's going to a think tank that he set up. God. Anyway, here is why Trump gave it up. It was all down to executive order, it turned out. You have yourselves a bloody good weekend, folks. Don't go and do anything I wouldn't do. The dickheads will certainly be out on the road this weekend. Why? Well, because they can. It's a long weekend and they like to trek around. Just be safe. Keep your eyes open. You don't need to be driving over the speed limit. In fact, knock 5, knock 10 off, and you'll only arrive 4 minutes later. It's not a big difference. And you don't then have to be the dickhead on the road for the weekend. Let that be some other fool. Stay safe, folks. We'll talk to you over the weekend.
You let
Bye.
one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back.
Does anybody else want to stay?
Let's rock!